Hi, I'm Katie from Bantu Media, and I'm going to show you how to create a WordPress document library for your website. The document library will look something like this, where your documents are displayed in a table layout, and you can choose which columns of information to add about your documents. You can add basically any information you like, whether it's a download link, a file size, file type, categories, tags, images. There's tons of different types of information you can display in your document library, and it will also be fully responsive, so it will adapt to mobiles and different screen sizes. And we'll also show you how to add ways for people to navigate your document library to find the documents they want more quickly. So there'll be various ways to navigate it, such as filter dropdowns. You can have one or more filters above the document library where people can very quickly choose a category or a tag or even a custom taxonomy or something like that to filter. There'll be a search box where people can search for specific documents based on whatever information they want. They can sort any of the columns. They can click on a category, tag or taxonomy within the document library. So as you can see, there's lots of different ways to navigate it. So, and finally, of course, people need to be able to download the document. So they'll either be able to click on a link to a single page for that document where you can publish the document online, or you can add download links for PDFs or whatever you want directly within the table. And as you can see here, you can add different types of links like text links or buttons or whatever you choose. So we're going to do that using two plugins. First of all, you need a plugin to actually create an area for storing documents within your WordPress admin. And we're going to do that with a free plugin on wordpress.org called Pods. Pods is great because it lets you create a custom post type to store each document and also add custom fields of data to that post type. So you can use custom fields to store things like the download link for the document, and you can also create custom taxonomies for any information that you want to be able to filter by in your document library. And I'll talk you through both of those a bit more later so that you'll learn how to set them up and how to choose what type of displays to use, whether to be custom fields or taxonomies. And you'll also need the Posts Table Pro plugin, which is one of our plugins at Bantu Media. And Posts Table Pro is what creates the front end of your document library. So if we look at this, the documents stored in the WordPress admin have come from Pods, whereas the actual display in the table layout with the filters and columns and everything has come from Posts Table Pro. Next, I'm going to show you how to set up both of these plugins to create a complete document library just like this one. The first step to creating your WordPress document library is to create a custom post type in WordPress where you will save your documents. That's going to be a documents link, which you'll see on the left of the WordPress admin, and that's where you'll add each document and also store any extra fields of data about the document, such as description, file size, file format, a link to download the document, that kind of thing. If you haven't already got the Pods plugin installed, go to Plugins, Add New and search for Pods, which is P-O-D-S. I've already installed it, so I'm going to go straight into Pods Admin, which is at the bottom on the left, and then I'm going to go to Add New, and I want the Create New option here. Leave the default here because we want to create a custom post type, and I'm going to call mine Documents. You can call it whatever you want, and then go to Next Step. And then it will take you to the next screen. This is where you add any extra custom fields for your document library. Before I do this, I'm going to explain just briefly the difference between custom fields and taxonomies, because I'm going to show you how to create both different types of field to add extra data about your documents. Now, a custom field is for storing unique information. Unique information is something that only applies to that one document and not your others. So you wouldn't want to filter by a custom field. Examples of something you should be using custom fields for are file size rather. file size, you're not going to filter by file size, are you? You might want to display that as a column in your document library, but you don't want to be able to filter by it. And similarly, a link to download the document, that is an appropriate use of a custom field because only that one document will have that link. So for unique information such as that, we're going to use custom fields. And I'm going to add a couple of custom fields now to show you. Later on, I'm going to show you how to create custom taxonomies as well. And they're different because custom taxonomies are for grouping your documents so that you can filter by them. So a custom taxonomy might be file type so that your users can select all PowerPoint presentations or all PDF files and so on. It might be categories or something like that. So if you want to filter or group by it, use taxonomies. For now, we're just doing custom fields. So go to add field, and the first one I'm going to create is going to be a unique link to download the document. So the label is document link. It can be whatever you want. And when you click name, that will automatically populate based on the label that you created. There's different fields types, as you can see. Plain text is good for most things, but I'm going to use the what you see is what you get visual editor field. The reason for that is because I'm going to be adding links, and as you'll know from creating WordPress pages and posts, the WYSIWYG visual editor makes it much easier to add links because you literally type a link, highlight it, and then click the link item from the toolbar. So you don't have to bother with HTML or anything more technical if you use this field type. So that's what I'm going to do. And then you just click Save Field. And I'm also going to add a file, let's say file size, let's call it a reference. There's tons of stuff you can do in a document library, but I'm going to create a reference field. And again, I'm going to save it. I think I'll leave that as plain text because it's just a reference number for my document. So there's no special formatting we need. So we'll leave it as plain text and click Save Field. Before I save my pod, I'm going to go straight to Advanced Options, and I'm going to scroll down to the Support section. Now this is really useful because it allows you to activate built-in WordPress fields to use for your documents. By default, when you create a pod, i.e. your custom post type, the title and the editor, which is the main content, are activated. So that allows you to add a title for each document and also to add a main content description, whatever you want to use it for, similar to adding a normal post in WordPress. If you want, you can also choose the author field. Now that will be the author of the WordPress user who created your document. So to be honest, if you want to store an author in your document library, I recommend using a custom taxonomy, which I'll show you how to do in a minute, because then you can choose any author. They don't have to be a user on your WordPress website. So I think you're probably going to want to ignore author. You might want a featured image. You might want an excerpt, or I'm not going to. You obviously want custom fields because we've just created some. So choose anything that you want. You'll also, just below that, see a section for built-in taxonomies. Now these are taxonomies which are already created on your WordPress website, and they will include categories and tags. Now you can activate categories and tags for your document library, but I'm not going to do that. And the reason for that is because if you do categories and tags, then they will be used, that it will be the same categories and tags as you use for other types of content, such as normal blog posts. So if you have a blog that's divided into categories, those categories will be all mixed up with your document categories, and the same with the tags. So I think you probably want distinct categories and tags that just apply to your documents and not other types of content. And that is what custom taxonomies are for, which I will tell you how to do next. So I'm going to leave those unticked, although you can use them by all means if you want. And basically all the fields that you've added on the original tab a minute ago, and all these things that you tick here, will appear on the add document screen when you add your documents. So everything you activate will become a field that is available for you to add to your documents and then display within your document library. So that's it for now, and we're just going to click Save Pod to save the custom post type. And as you can see already, a documents link has appeared on the left hand side of the WordPress admin, and this is where we're going to start adding documents in a minute. The next thing we're going to do is create a custom taxonomy, which will allow you to group and filter items in your document library. To do that, we want to go back to Pods Admin and click on Add New. And like before, we want Create New. What's different to what you did before is that instead of custom post type, we want custom taxonomy. And you can call it whatever you want. I'm going to call it document, doc category and doc categories, but call it whatever you want. Again, your users won't actually see this. It's just for you behind the scenes. Then we go to next step. Now this time it's a little bit quicker than it was before because you don't need to add any fields. You've already added the fields directly to your custom post type for documents. You do not want separate fields for your taxonomy. So all you need to do to finish off this step is go to Advanced Options, scroll down and you'll see an associated post types option there. That is where you want to tick documents because you want this taxonomy to apply to your documents post type so that it's available to categorize your documents. So you click that and click Save Pod, and that's all you need to do to add a taxonomy. The next thing we're going to do is to go to Documents, and I'm going to add New. And I'm going to show you how to just add one sample document. I'm then going to pause the document, pause the video and add all my other documents behind the scenes because you don't want to watch me doing that. And at that point you can add your own documents as well. So let's just call this sample document. This is the description, that's your main content area. You can categorize your documents. You can either do that by going to Documents and hovering over your taxonomy, which will appear as a link here under the main documents link, or you can do it directly on the Add Document page. And once you've added a term here, then that will then appear for your other documents so that you can tag several documents with the same term. And that's how we're going to group them in the document library a little bit later. I'm going to add a featured image. Let's just see what's in my media library already. I'm just going to choose a PDF. So that's nice and easy. It's a good way. You can upload a unique image for each document, or you can just use it to show icons or something, which is what I'm doing here. Document link is a good one. So here I'm going to right click here. I don't actually recommend writing click here ever because that's not very user friendly, but just showing you how it works. And then as with any link in WordPress, because we chose the WYSIWYG field type a minute ago, you highlight it and click the insert edit link icon. And at that point, you can just type your URL for the link in there. Now this should actually be the download link for your PDF. So I should probably quickly show you how to do that now. So you can add any link in the world, but let's say that you've uploaded your document to the media library, and I'll just find one here. So here's a PDF that I've previously uploaded. If you click on that in your media library, then you can see here the URL of that. And so if you copy the URL, then you go back to your document, and let's add the link there. You can actually paste the URL of the link in and click apply. And so now this is a link to download that actual document. And so that's a way to make it clickable. And let's also add a reference. So as you can see, I've filled in all the different fields which I created a minute ago for my document's custom post type. And the next step is to add all your other documents, which I'm going to do next, and then I will come back next and show you how to display your documents within a document library. Okay, so now I've added various documents to my site, which you can see in the documents list for my custom post type. Do the same for yours. Go to Documents, Add New, and add all of your documents with all of the information that you need. And once you've got the documents in place, it's time to display them on the front end of your website in a proper document library. To do that, we're going to create a new page. So we go to Pages, Add New, and you can call it whatever you want. I'm going to call mine Document Library. And what we're going to do is add a shortcode to the page. Now, to do this, you need the Posts Table Pro plugin, which you can get from our website, barn2.co.uk. And the Posts Table Pro plugin provides the shortcode, which we are going to use to create our front-end document library. And it also comes with all the other things you need, like the different columns, the filters, search box, and so all the functionality for the front end of your document library. Now, once you've got Posts Table Pro and installed it via the usual plugin section, come back to create your page and go open squared bracket, and then it's posts_table. And then we need to add some extra parameters to the shortcode to tell the Posts Table Pro plugin to display your document's post type and also what information you want to display within your document library. So the first thing I'm going to do, now I've added the basic Posts Table shortcode, is write post_type equals, and then within quotation marks you need to write the actual name or slug of your custom post type. This will be the singular name that you added when you created your custom post type in the Pods admin. So if you've forgotten it, then you can go to the Pods admin and look for your custom post type and find the singular label. And that is what you need to write here. So mine is document. So post_type equals document, and then close off your quotation marks. Next, you need to tell your document library what columns of information you want to display. And so you write columns equals, and then within quotation marks again, you want to list the columns. Now, there are loads of different columns that you can display with Posts Table Pro, and I recommend that you go to the plugin knowledge base for full details of the available columns. I'm going to give you some sample ones that are popular for a document library and depend on the custom fields and taxonomies that I created a minute ago. Obviously, your custom fields and taxonomy will be called something different, so adapt what I'm about to do to your own data. So I'm going to go columns. First, I want image. Now, image is the main featured image which I added for my documents. So you might remember that on the right, when I created the documents, I uploaded a featured image, and that's what will display with the image column. So in my case, I added the icon for each document as an image, like the PDF icon, Excel icon, etc. Next, I want to display a custom field to show the document reference. And you might remember that earlier on, I used the Pods plugin to create a custom field called reference. So to do a custom field, you want CF:, and that basically tells Posts Table Pro it's a custom field. And then you want the name of your custom field, and mine is reference. So CF:, reference. I'm going to put another comma, and I want to display my document title now. So that would be the main title for each of your documents. So that's title, another comma. Now I'm going to display another custom field, and this one's going to be the download link so that people can click to download the document. So let's go CF:, and mine was download_link. And again, your custom fields will be called something different, so adapt this to your own site. And finally, I want to create another column to display a custom taxonomy. And the taxonomy that I've created is document category. So I'm going to go tax: document _category. And the Pods plugin always uses an underscore rather than a hyphen, so make sure you get your syntax right, because if it doesn't work, it probably means you've done something like used a hyphen instead of an underscore or something like that. And now I'm going to close off my square brackets, so we have a complete shortcode, and I'm going to preview my page. So we're loading up the document library, and you'll be able to see the first version of it. So here we have the first draft of document library, which is actually looking pretty good already. There's a couple of issues I can see with it. There are no filters yet, so I'll show you how to add filters in a minute. There's also a big space on the right, which I could use to add some sidebar widgets, but I'm just going to change my template to full width. Your theme might work slightly differently to this, and of course you can have a sidebar on your document library if you want to, but I think it would look better full width, so I'll just show you what it looks like now. So it just sort of fills the available space better and makes better use of space. So have a play with the templates that come with your theme and decide how you want it. The next thing I'm going to do is add some filters above the table. I think I'll just add a category filter because that's the taxonomy I created, which you can filter by. So at the moment, you can actually already filter the document library, either by typing something into the search box. So if I type 2016, then anything with 2016 comes up. And I can also filter by clicking on a category. So you see it instantly filters the table for that category. But I always think that your users may not find it that obvious that clicking on one of these will filter the table. So, and also, of course, you may not have that as a column in your document library. That's not essential. So I'm going to add some drop downs above my document library to make it really easy and obvious how to filter. So we're going to go back to our document library page, and just inside the square brackets we do a space, and then I want to write filters equals, and again within quotation marks I'm going to write tax : document _ category. So it's the same syntax I used to display that taxonomy as a column, but I'm using it in the filters option now. And if I wanted, I could add multiple filters. So for example, if I was using tags or categories or something else, I could use commas to add multiple filter drop downs. But I'm just going to add one for the document category. And let's preview the page and see what it looks like. So now we've got a category filter above our document library. So that is another nice way for people to navigate it. Really good if you have loads of documents. I'm just going to show you one final tip, which is this all looks pretty neat, but I personally think that if you've got filters, you probably don't want show X entries above the table. So I'll just show you quickly how to hide that. And it's basically an example of lots of options that you get with the Posts Table Pro document library plugin, so that you can hide any elements. You can hide the search box, you can move it to the bottom, you can change the pagination. There's tons of stuff you can do. And this is just one example really to give you a flavour of it. But use the document library to see everything else that's possible. So I'm going to go page _ length, and I need to spell it correctly there, equals, and I'm just going to write false, and that is going to hide what we call the page length option, which is that bit above the table. As you can see, we've got rid of that. Just looks a little bit cleaner, and I think it draws your attention to the navigation areas of your document library. So by not having things like that aren't really essential, people can go straight to the filters and the search box and very quickly find the documents that they want. And once they've found the document they want, they can click on the link to actually download it. Now my links aren't actually active, but if I had actually linked to a downloadable document in my media library, then that would download it now. And finally, quite a lot of people who use Posts Table Pro as a document library plugin contact us to say, how do I make it so that when I click on the title, it will download the document immediately without needing a separate download column? And there is a way to do that, and it's using a free plugin called Page Links 2. And with the Page Links 2 plugin, it lets you add any URL to which, when people click to view a post, it will immediately take you to that URL. So what you do is install Page Links 2 and upload your document to the media library, and then you set the URL for that post as the URL of the document. So people can click on the title and immediately download the document. And that's a free plugin, Page Links 2, and it works nicely with Posts Table Pro. And actually, I'll show you one final thing, which is since you've created a custom post type, and if you're not using Page Links 2, then when people click on a document, they will see the single post page, which is all right, but it's not that good because this is the blog post layout that comes with your theme, that WordPress just uses it for custom post types. If you're a bit technical, then you could create a custom template for your custom post type. But to be honest, I don't think that's necessary for most document libraries. Let's just go back. Instead, what you can either do is use Page Links 2 to link directly to the document, or you can simply disable the links in your document library by going links equals and none. And let's see what that looks like. Links equals none. So now these are not clickable. The download link is still clickable because that's a custom field which you added manually. And there you have it, a complete document library created using the free pod plugin and the Posts Table Pro plugin. As you can see, it has everything that you're likely to need in a document library. Really easy to find what you need, download the documents, and you can choose all the information to display. Now, Posts Table Pro is available on our website, barn2.co.uk, And when you buy the plugin, you get a full year of support with it. And so get in touch if you need any help or advice in setting up your document library the way you want it to. Thanks for watching.